is about, we started with digital transformation. If you look today online, there's many narratives about digital transformation. Do you think that when organizations are talking about digital transformation, are we all talking about the same thing? Or we are in Canada and digital transformation has a certain meaning. We go to United States and, digital transformation in Boston is one thing, and in New York is another thing. Or even when you go to Hong Kong or Japan or Asia, you are talking about a different thing. And then when you go to India, we are even talking about a different type of digital transformation. What do you think about this type of narrative that sometimes can blur the way how we look at it all?
So I'm pretty sure we are not talking about the same thing. And you brought a regional perspective into it. I can add another perspective, which would be a market perspective. If you talk about digitalization with, let's say, even in manufacturing area, with our discrete manufacturing, like OEMs, Airbus or air manufacturing, versus process automation. So therefore, we are not talking the same. I think there are a couple of things which are indeed in common. In common is that it's the use of certain technology stacks, it's platforms, it's cloud services and the like. That's in common, because people know and understand that there's a massive amount of data which are in any way running into your system, and you have to store it somewhere, so immediately in the cloud. There are a lot of number crunching demand which you definitely want to do in the cloud rather than in your edge device. It's not possible. So this is in common, but and again, some technology plays too. But at the end of the day, there's and also different stages. Some are talking Industry 4.0, but they mean 3.0, and so therefore it's a broad range. Even if the definition of what is IoT versus Industry 4.0 is there difference. What is the difference? It's a very, very different thing. So my proposal is, and regional wise too, because if you talk about India, I mean, India is dominated by this Infosys and Wipros and Tata Services. I mean, they come from a different perspective. They come in from the IT layer and going now into the OT area, so to speak. If you want so, they look from the top of the same animal, which we look from the bottom, or wherever you like, which looks different, obviously. So, but it will converge as the more mature the applications get, the more convergence I would expect on this view.